Coming up on the show this week, we've got a brand new drivetrain enters the market.
Ooh, and Yeti are teasing another new frame, Anna.
Yep, and we spotted a RockShox prototype. So my topic is going to be based around the new TRP drivetrain, the Evo drivetrain, mainly because, well, it's another new giant entering the market and competing with SRAM and Shimano, and I think it's worth talking about. So previously they've had a shifter and a derailleur, but now they're adding a chain, a crankset and a cassette to, selling as an entire drivetrain. And they did some good things before. They did that sort of chain length indicator where the two images lined up on the derailleur, which I really appreciated. They also had that hull lock, which I'll talk a little bit more about later, but it's effectively a switch that locks out the B knuckle on the derailleur so that it didn't move around or bounce around. And there's a few other features that they're bringing to the table, but I just kind of appreciated that they were taking some of the benefits of Shimano and some of the benefits of SRAM, putting them together in one drivetrain and then adding more stuff. And I'm thinking,
yeah, well,
that's got to be a good thing, isn't it, Rich?
it's a big move, isn't it? Taking on the big S's.
It is.
Because those guys are monsters in the drivetrain world. So tackling them is you know.
But do you think, are they too late to the party? Have we all moved on? We're going electronic. Is there another room? Is there even room?
Definitely, I would say there's room.
Another one.
Electronic. Now, we've heard a lot, obviously, about electronic group sets, haven't we, recently in the press? And I'm not an electronic hater, because I actually use it on some bikes. But there's definitely a time and a place for it. And a good mechanical group set can be amazing still. So what TRP have done here, I think, is definitely valid. It's not a waste of time by any stretch of the imagination.
I think what I appreciate from it is the fact that Shimano started playing with Di2 around about 2011, and then SRAM started playing around with Axis at about 2019, and somewhere between those 2 years they were playing with 1x and they were playing with 12 speed instead of 11 speed, and I feel like the attention's been shifted and they haven't put any attention into improving mechanical, because there's surely still stuff we can improve.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I reckon that, or refine. I think it's all about refining,
that's a good word,
rather than improving, because to me anyway, there's only so much you can do with a mech. You know, it's like reinventing the wheel over and over again. You know, so you refine it, you make improvements to it. So if TRP are doing, like you said, they are taking the best parts from each of the big S's and making their own, well, that's obviously a great thing. And I still think a solid mechanical group set is far more reliable than an electronic group set, I think.
Mechanical ain't dead, is it?
No way, Jose.
Let me point out a couple of things that they're borrowing. So they've got this cage lock, a bit similar to how SRAM have the cage lock, and you can take your wheel out a bit easier. They've got 30mm spindle as well for the crankset, arguably pretty good. And then they're bringing in a really strong clutch that's tunable, so that's what Shimano usually boast. So they've already brought two of the best things from each other, put them into one drivetrain, and they're using UDH, which is already on like 200 plus 200 plus models already. I mean, they can't lose, can they? Sure, is this the best?
Well,
and the cassette, Rich,
exactly,
is the lightest cassette on the market.
My mind is blown, Anna, because I can't. I mean, the other two are so light as it is that they made an even lighter one, and I question this, but if it is, then fair play.
Yeah, okay, so they've given us weights and some prices, and I think it remains to be seen. This is all claimed at the moment. The full details will be dropping soon at Sea Otter, which I will be going to in about 3 weeks' time. So 20th of April to the 23rd of April, we'll be doing the Sea Otter Tech Shows, and I do want to go and see this drivetrain in the flesh to see what's so amazing about it. But in the meantime, let me know down in the comments below, what do you think? Is there room for another giant? Is this going to clear up some shortages with SRAM and Shimano? Are you wanting mechanical to even be improved, or are they too late to the party? Let me know down in the comments below. So as you heard, TRP dropped a new drivetrain, a complete drivetrain now with cranks, chain and cassette. They've got the Evo 7, which is a 7-speed downhill drivetrain, and then they've got the Evo 12, which is everything else, basically. So check this out on screen. They're going in with a snazzy old gold number. You can also get it in silver, though, if you're not into it. Previously, it was single shift only, and now you have the option for both. So you can actually just flick a switch on the shifter and have either single shift, or you can shift 5 at one time. They've also improved the hole lock to try and lock out the B knuckle, and the parallelogram now moves side to side rather than at an angle, and the whole combination of that apparently screams that it is the most silent or the quietest drivetrain on the market in the world. This remains to be seen, but it certainly looks promising. Also, the cassette is compatible with microspline. It's apparently lighter than XX1 and XTR, and the new carbon cranks come in 165 or 170, or forged aluminium if you want downhill. Prices and everything should be coming soon, but I will see them at Sea Otter, so do check out those shows in late April to find out more.
Oh, Anna, you're vexing me with these drivetrain number shenanigans.
Too dry for you, is it?
And there's more important news. I hate to say it.
Come on then.
Yeti.
Yet again.
New frame. Not a downhill bike, enduro bike, trail bike, or XC bike. Yes, the new Yeti dirt jump frame has been spotted in the wild. Now, this isn't available as part of their special projects sort of system of bikes. It's been seen under reed bogs. Check this out, looking steezy smooth on the dirt jumps out there. Yes, looks good, doesn't it? What do you reckon?
It looks clean. I mean, I always loved the Yeti DJ or the Yeti dirt jump bike. It looked nice.
So good.
My next, we've got a downhill bike back. We've got a dirt jump bike back. When's the Yeti 4-cross coming back?
Oh, yes.
Remember that little
we can only hope.
Full sus.
Yeah, we can. Now, I've got some stats. So it's got a micro adjustable dropouts to get that perfect chain tension. Ideal. Internal cable routing. Strange on a dirt jump bike. I'm not sure that's
looks pretty
necessary, but it's clean, isn't it? So we like that. Stronger than ever. Obviously, it's a carbon makeup, so we are loving that a lot. Now, whether we see it actually in production, I don't know. Could it go down the route of, you know, how that Canyon Trials bike wasn't out for ages despite being ridden by lots of riders and then finally made it production? I'm hoping.
Maybe. Get onto them if you want it. But in the meantime, O-Chain, we've talked about them a lot over the last year. They've just released another O-Chain. It's an O-Chain R. So basically, if you're not familiar with O-Chain, it just had a slight degree of movement in the front chainring, or allowed movement in your front chainring, to basically disconnect the drivetrain from your suspension. And they've basically brought out this new one so that you can adjust the amount of degrees in which it moves. So have a look at this now. Basically, you have the option of 4 degrees, 6 degrees, 9 degrees, or 12. You basically undo the little bolt, change it to whatever degree you want. So if you're racing downhill or a more rough track, you can. And then when it's pedally, you can move it back to a lower degree of movement. At the moment, it's still BCD 104 only. It's 120 grams rider weight limit on that, and it's $385.
Ouch.
On top of your drivetrain.
Oof.
But if you want it, it's available.
It's the price you pay. Yowzers. Oh, that's pretty steep. But I mean, I've heard good reviews, and I know a lot of guys who use them. So I'd be intrigued to get one on an enduro bike. I think. Well,
that's where we're seeing it a lot, isn't it?
Yes. Right. Next up, Kids Ride Shotgun. They've got a new off-road balance bike.
Nice.
And how sick does this look? So yeah, Kids Ride Shotgun, new off-road balance bike, Dirt Hero for kids 2 to 5 year old. 12 to 14 inch wheels, sort of bridging the gap between those 16 inch wheelers. Comes in a neutral white. 3 top tube skins for customization.
I love
pretty
that.
cool.
But that white does look sick already.
does.
I would definitely have a bike that looked like that.
Do you think it'd stay looking like that for long?
I don't know, but it'd look good dirty. Anyway. Now, so back into enduro, and we'll talk a bit about GMBN racing soon. But we spotted Jesse Melamed in the highlights, and he looks to be on a prototype rear shock. And we notice this because it's very reminiscent of an old Vivid Air, which is, we knew it was different because the current Super Deluxe with the piggyback, the air can and the piggyback are kind of in the same place. Yeah. Whereas this one, the air beer can is sort of on the opposite end, and the stickers are all vintagey, different looking. So we know he's testing something out. And thanks to the highlights on GMBN Racing, we know that he's running a Spectral, which is usually a 150mm, isn't it? But he's running a 160 shock, so that shock is different. And we did also see it very briefly on Jack Moyer's YT as well, before he went back to coil. So it's only a select few are playing around with it, but what's your thoughts?
Interesting. Obviously some kind of maybe black box wizardry going on there. I'm not entirely sure. We shall have to wait and see if it sort of makes production or we see it on any other riders' bikes. But do you know what, Neil, he's got a bit of an opinion maybe why Melamed didn't win at the weekend. I don't think it's RockShox related, but you're going to have to tune into GMBN Racing where we've just dropped the news show and find out. But obviously at the end of this. Don't do it now.
Don't, just stay there until the end.
Exciting news is that we'll be bringing you the action from the UCI Mountain Bike World Series, the new home of the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup. This includes cross-country Olympic, cross-country short track and cross-country marathon, downhill, enduro and e-enduro. We'll be trackside to bring you the insight into all of the action from the racing, as well as track walks, bike checks, interviews, pit walks, highlights and more throughout the season. We'll also be showing the elite semi-finals from downhill, as well as the junior races and under 23s cross country, alongside short highlights of all the disciplines, all brought to you by our good selves right here on GMBN Racing. And if you want the full premium package, including worldwide access to absolutely all events we've already mentioned, plus the full-length live UCI World Series Elite Finals, which is an absolute must-see, then head over to GCN Plus, link below to find out more and subscribe. GCN Plus is our live and on-demand racing and documentary subscription service, which lets you take the action with you, pause, rewind and pick up where you left off on mobile, web and connected devices, including Apple TV, Samsung and Fire TV. And even when the racing's over, you've also got access to over 160 exclusive cycling documentaries covering adventure, challenge, tech and legends of the sport. If you're interested, check out the one about the Athertons for starters. It's available to watch right now.
Okay, so comments from you lovely people, and last week we were talking about the SRAM new access or the Eagle drivetrain. Yeah, I don't know if you've heard.
That's out, is it?
There was a new one last week. And basically we were wondering if the hanger is dead. So Jürgen Imschut, I think that is, the ability to carry a lightweight spare that only costs €10 and do a repair on the go, explain to me how this is a bad thing. I mean, you've got
I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. This, right, next one, Ivan Jeganov. Broke mine and probably saves my frame. I just carry extra.
Yeah, fair enough. Mark here says, if something happens, you need to replace the entire frame. What we need is a universal hanger, and that's it. So they should have just stopped at the EDH.
Again, I'm not saying anything, people. Right, dystopia is utopia. I was using Shimano Saint through axle back between 11 and 2015. Nobody wanted to use it due to weight concerns. Now it seems nobody cares about weight anymore. LOL. That being said, I prefer the derailleur hanger. It gives me a breaking point before the frame breaks. There's a theme coming up here.
But Roger says, well, now we know why SRAM came out with the UDH. Yes, it was a little bit of a Trojan horse. I seriously hope they make a cable version. I'm still not sure if getting rid of the derailleur hanger is a good thing.
Yeah, and Gary Sansone says, with the flex inherent to rear triangles and loose inconsistent tolerances in bicycle manufacturing, the T-type is only a good idea in the most perfect of cases. Combine that with shifting and safety mechanisms on the new setup requiring electronics, and you get a part that will likely only be useful on races and dentists' bikes. Oof. Oh, burn!
Gary. Yeah, it's interesting, but I mean, it should be stiffer. You shouldn't get any flex.
Yeah, right. God.
Aaron
Savage.
Williams, the design of this thing kind of makes it seems like it would be putting twisting forces into the frame. Seems like it will be interesting if it can generate enough force to crack your fancy carbon frame. Interesting, I did once crack a frame because my inner cable got jammed in it was like a front my front shifter. Yeah, the cable got
Front
jammed.
shifter?
And as I was pulling it, it literally just pulled the front shifter straight out of the frame.
Wow.
But saying that, technically the whole thing should be so much stronger that it shouldn't cause any flexes. But
we'll find out. Right, lastly from Mario Nampusa. I like the idea, it looks great indeed, but the price is something to consider. I just upgraded my system to Shimano XT Link Glide for under €400, the complete set. Whoa.
I mean, price is, a very important factor. Thank you so much for all your comments. So, Rich, you're still building that bike cave of yours, so I'm giving you more inspiration here. And my first up here is from Sean, who in Wisconsin, who basically was meant to be going to Bentonville on holiday. You've been there recently?
Yes, very nice. Last year we did.
Yeah.
Heading there soon though.
But it was cancelled due to snow, so he spent his whole time building this bike cave. Check that out.
It's not bad. I like it. He's even got like those big battle ropes to swing around as well.
I know, and I love the soft floor as well. That's so handy.
Snazzy. Right, next up is Dan. Where are we? Minnesota, USA this time. And he said, Dottie had me on a bike cave a couple years ago, and the things have escalated since then. I've added into biking. Loads of bikes. I need to keep the bikes in the living room, so he has them mounted up on the wall. It's real tidy. Look, turbo tucked in there, wheels mounted on the wall. I like it. Very nice indeed. Look at that screen setup as well.
2 bikers in one apartment. You definitely need some solutions for that, don't you? So my final one here is in Caerphilly, so that's Wales, from Philip here, who said it's not the most bike tools, but I love my garage and it's cleaner than his house, he says.
It's cleaner than mine as well, I reckon, looking at that. Crikey, nice one.
I just love the fact that he's used sort of an old kitchen in the garage there for all of his bits and bobs. I think that's
that's well cool, isn't it? That's real tight. I mean, if my kitchen gets that clean, I'll be well chuffed. Look, keep sending in your bike caves. We do love to see them, and I do need the inspiration, so they are bangers.
So there's an uploader link down below and in the description, so do check that out. But that's all we've got time for, Rich, today.
What?
Thank you.
Already?
I know. It's always a shame. Yeah, it's always a shame to cut the show short. But do join the comments down below for the debate on whether we need another drivetrain giant or whether we need mechanical to be improved still. Otherwise, head over to GMBN Racing for the news.
Ooh.